I looked into a stranger's eyes and saw the exact second he was going to die. At first, I thought I was losing my mind.
My name is Ethan Brooks. For the past 3 years, I've worked as a paramedic. Every day I help strangers survive their worst moments. But no matter how hard I worked, nothing I ever did was enough for my own family. My parents adopted my older brother Daniel when we were children. They always said they loved us equally, but everyone knew the truth. Daniel was their pride. I was their disappointment. Daniel owned a successful business before he turned 30. He drove expensive cars. People admired him everywhere he went. Whenever relatives visited, my father proudly showed them Daniel's achievements, his awards, his photos, his interviews. Then he would look at me and shake his head. "Ethan, you've always had a good heart." "But a good heart doesn't build a successful life." Everyone laughed. I forced a smile. Because arguing never changed anything. Even my mother joined in. She would pat Daniel on the shoulder and say, "He's the son every parent dreams of." Those words hurt every single time, not because Daniel was successful, but because I was standing right there listening to them say it. The only person who made life feel worth fighting for was my fiancée, Emma. She always told me success wasn't measured by money. She said kindness mattered more. For 2 years, I believed her. I'd even bought a ring. I planned to propose that weekend. I thought, maybe one part of my life was finally going to be different. I couldn't have been more wrong. The proposal ring stayed in my jacket pocket, waiting for the perfect moment. I had imagined that day hundreds of times. I never imagined it would become the worst day of my life. That evening, my parents invited the whole family to dinner. They said Daniel had an important announcement. The house was full of relatives. Everyone surrounded Daniel, laughing, congratulating him. As usual, nobody even noticed when I walked in. A few minutes later, the front door opened again. Emma walked inside. I smiled. I thought, maybe this was the perfect opportunity to ask her to marry me before I could reach her. She walked past me without even looking into my eyes. Instead, she stopped beside Daniel. Daniel smiled. Then he gently held her hand. The entire room became quiet. My father stood up with a huge smile. "I've been waiting all week to share this news." He looked proudly at Daniel, then at Emma. "Our son is getting married." Everyone started clapping. For a second, I thought they were talking about me. Then Emma stepped closer to Daniel. She rested her head on his shoulder and smiled. I said yes. My heart stopped. The ring inside my pocket suddenly felt heavier than a mountain. I looked at Emma. She finally looked back at me. There wasn't any guilt in her eyes, only pity. "I'm sorry, Ethan. I couldn't keep pretending. Daniel can give me the future I've always dreamed of." The room stayed silent. Nobody defended me. Nobody even looked surprised, as if everyone had already known, except me. My father walked over, placed one hand on my shoulder. "You should be happy for your brother. Emma deserves someone who can actually give her a good life." Several relatives nodded. One of my uncles laughed. "I guess heroes don't always win." Another cousin whispered loudly enough for everyone to hear. "Kindness doesn't pay the bills." Laughter filled the room. Daniel never said a word. He simply stood there, smiling. Emma removed the necklace I had given her 2 years earlier. She placed it in my hand. "I don't need this anymore. That hurt more than anything she had said. I looked around the room one last time. My family, my relatives, the woman I loved. Not one person stood beside me. I quietly put the ring back into my pocket, turned around, and walked toward the front door. Behind me, the celebration continued. Music started playing. People laughed. Glasses touched in celebration, as if I had never existed. The moment I stepped outside, heavy rain poured from the sky. Within seconds, I was completely soaked, but I didn't care. I just kept walking, without knowing that this storm was about to change my life forever.